So there I was driving my 24 scale, and this guy came over with his 18 scale like he was all this big, like big bad guy. And I was all like, hey, it's not all about the size. You know what I mean? Hey, welcome back to CK4RC. I got it. I'm in the club. I got the Redcat Ascent18 right here. I'm a few days late to the party because I'm not on anybody's mailing list, which probably should be a crime, at very least a state crime, if not federal. But whatever, people don't care what I have to say. Can you believe that? It makes me sad, hurts my feelings. Whatever. Here I am, Redcat Ascent18. I am super pumped about this. Every review I've seen just raves about how capable this little rig is, and I can't wait to get into it. So let's do that. A couple things on the box to point out. So just great graphics there on the front side. 750 milliamp an hour LiPo battery. I want to talk about that for a second because a lot of the reviews that I've seen, they haven't mentioned that battery. The size of that battery. 750 for a stock RTR truck? What? Come on. 750 is impressive. I mean, SCX24s, everything else that I've unboxed so far, we're talking what, 350 milliamps? This is 750. We're going to get a good runtime out of this. I like it. Metal Gear servo, cool, clipless body mount. We're going to talk about that in just a moment. High clearance portal axles, ball bearings throughout. No bushings on these guys. Now, some people get hung up on that. Ball bearings are just a higher quality part. No way around that. That's a fact. On these little trucks, bushings are usually okay. And for budget RTR rigs, that's usually what you get. And these things aren't built for high performance, so bushings typically work. With this one, I did go with the graphite color, which is just they're gray, they're silver. I love the way the red one looked, and I really wanted to get that, but I've got enough red vehicles as it is. The blue one was my least favorite, even though blue generally is like one of my favorite colors. The color of that, it just didn't speak to me. So I went with the silver. And so with that, I went with the gray shirt for the video because I got to match my shirt with the video because I can. I have all these great shirts from Only RCs. If you're getting CK4RC merch and it doesn't have the Only RCs logo, you're doing it wrong. This is the only authorized retailer. Does that make it sound fancy? Authorized retailer for CK4RC merch. Listen, I don't get anything out of this. What I get out of this is I get awesome merch. But hopefully Only RCs get some business out of it, and it's a win-win for everybody. And a win-win for you if you use my discount code. I'm gonna drop it down below like I always do. I always do this tornado thing with my finger too, because I know it goes down here somewhere, but I don't know exactly where. So I do this because then I cover it. Listen, I'm just excited. That's what it is. I'm sorry if I'm scaring you. Let's get into it. Getting stuff out of boxes is not always the easiest thing. All right. Okay. Got the truck. Look at that thing. This is a great looking truck. There's some things that jump out to me right off the bat. First of all, not mad at the graphite color. Good, solid choice. These tires are solid. That is some great tire tread. Look at the tread on those RTRs, and they are soft. There's definitely foams inside, and you can see, I can see, you might not be able to see on the camera. They're glued. These are not beadlock wheels. They're glued, which, fine. For the price point of this vehicle, I'm going to touch on that here in just a second. No complaints at all on the glued wheels, especially the quality of those tires. That is a soft compound. Not super sticky, but nice and soft and deep lug tread. That's probably going to grip on pretty good. Pretty excited about that. The body is a nice pickup style. It is unlicensed, so just, you know, real generic kind of front end there with the grill and the light stickers. No places for LEDs on this. Fine. The one thing about this body design that kind of I'm not crazy about is these fender flares. And I do like fender flares in general, but these just have such a hard curve into the body, and they stop way up here, even above like the body molding line up here, like the trim line, which is just an odd design choice. Now I know this is supposed to be a clone of the Everest Ascent 10, the 10th scale from Redcat, and it's not a direct clone. It is the slimmed down model. I get that, but if I'm not mistaken, and I could be because I don't own one, but I believe the 10th scale has the tapered body where the front end kind of comes in at an angle in the front, and also tapered in the back where it comes into an angle in the back as well. For big scale crawlers, that helps just with clearance, less body rub, things like that. So this is not tapered. So I want to say this is not a complete clone just because of that. Otherwise, the detailing is pretty well spot on. So yeah, fender flares. I like fender flares. These ones, odd design choice. That's all I'll say about that. The body itself is clipless, as you can see, which, great. I don't like body clips. They are annoying. There's a little spin master back here. You just line that up, and then it just pops right open. And it hinges in the front. Now, what I have found with this hinge, it kind of hits on the front bumper a little bit, and it doesn't give a full hinge clearance to be able to work on stuff. Before I go any further though, let me talk about these bumpers. For a crawler, look how, it's not in place right now because this little spin master, that's what I call it. It's like a little wing nut kind of thing. It's not in place. All right, there. You can see how low profile that bumper is. If I can see, look how plush that is. And one of the free mods that I've seen with other videos, they trim that down. They actually make it like completely flush in the front and the rear. But look at that. That is solid. That is great designing. So, all right, let's get back to this. The beauty of this, it hinges. Yes, it does. But you do that, and then you just slide it forward, and it slides right off. It just pops right off. And now it's not in the way at all. So, with that, just a great looking design. Now, I will say this kind of molded trim line in the body down here, it's kind of odd, and it goes way down, way low below that, and it just gives kind of a weird profile to the truck. I'll try to see if you can see what I'm talking about there. So maybe if this little kind of skirt balance thing wasn't quite so low, maybe it wouldn't be so prominent. But it really is just a really defined thing. So whatever, it happens. One thing I want to note, while the windows look like stickers, they're not. Yes, there are stickers on them, but they're tinted. They're not black. They're not blacked out window stickers. Nice touch, Redcat. I really like that. I'm not crazy about window stickers. It just makes it feel cheap and generic. If you are going to do window stickers, blackout is better than like a fake window. But these tinted window stickers, great touch, because as you can see, there's not an interior in the rig, right? So having clear windows and you see the electronics, you lose a little bit of that scale detail. This is just a really smart, clever way to kind of mask that a little bit. So Redcat nailed it. They also have some nice detail touch. They've got the little sticker in the window back there. When it's upright, it's no problem. When it's upside down, oh, hey, we got a problem. We're upside down. We're not supposed to be. That's bad. That's how it works. They also have, I live in Indiana. We don't really have these kind of stickers, but it does have like the DOT certified, like, oh, we're allowed to be on the road. We're emissions clear and all that crap, whatever. So that's on there. So just some, scale details that Just a nice touch. I like that. All right, so we'll get that out of the way. Let's talk about this truck. You know what? Let's not talk about that truck for a second. Let's get in here and see what else we got in this box. I haven't done that yet. Normally I do that before I really get into the truck. So let me do that. Here we go. Maybe. The packaging is good quality. It's not pretty. It doesn't have like the printed outdoor scenery that a lot of people have. So we got instructions. We got some decals. We have body posts for some reason. Remember how I just showed you that it's clipless? Not sure why there's body posts. I guess if you want to install, if you want to swap out the body, maybe. Decals, like I said, instructions, USB charger. About brought the whole thing down right there with one careless little flip. George Michael did Careless Whisper. Wasn't that George Michael? Michaels? Wasn't that him that did Careless Whisper? I don't know. It wasn't Wham. I know that. Comes in a bag. Don't need that. Ooh, this is a pretty quality transmitter here. Okay, all right. Nice sturdy base. I don't like it when I slam stuff down this table. It's metal and it makes that, it's a clang. Nobody likes that, but I just do it out of habit. Got controls in here. We're talking throttle reverse, steering trim, throttle trim, steering direction, power, of course, because you got to have power. We've got a channel 3 switch up here that I'm not totally sure what that does. We've got a channel 4 button right here. Don't know what that does either. Remember when I threw the instructions? That probably explains all of it. And then the hard plastic thumb wheel. You guys know I'm not crazy about the hard plastic. It gives just a cheap feel. I like the nice foam padded steering wheel. Also, the design of that wheel, it looks more like a flower, kind of not crazy about that, but guess what? Who cares? This is a quality transmitter, and I am nitpicking. 100% I'm nitpicking. Because based on everything I've seen so far, I have nothing to complain about. All right, now let's get into the truck. Here we go. Ooh, that suspension is nice. Okay, so coming out of the box, we've got oil-filled shocks. See how I just set it there and it just kind of settles in place? It's not the friction dampered shocks that come on a lot of these budget RTRs. Nice oil-filled shocks. Those are smooth. Good amount of travel. What kind of articulation are we talking about out of the box here? Not bad. Look at that. You see how much that is? Goodness gracious. If I was smart, I would have got my calipers out and we could have measured what that is. But I didn't do that. I'm not going to get them out in the middle of the video. That is solid. Something else that I should note, there are mounting options for the shock, on the frame for the shocks, front and rear both. And so you can see that on camera right there. We've got options, which could probably, play with the travel and the articulation a little bit more even. Redcat, nice job. The first foray into the micro world, they're killing it. Standard, brushed can motor up here. We've got that 750 battery up here. Already talked about that. It does have a Velcro strap. I'm liking this. I've been seeing more and more RTRs lately with the rubber bands. Those are so cheap and crap. I'm not a fan. I don't like them. They get dry. They dry out. They get dry rotted, and then they just break. And then your battery's flopping around. Nobody wants that. I like the Velcro strap. Just a nice touch. Again, just a nice little touch. 2-in-1 ESC receiver combo, of course. So no complaints there. It is on the rear. Not crazy about that. I do want to talk about the battery placement. So while it is back here, I do like how they put it on this angle to try to drop that as low as they possibly could. And if I want to be super picky, which I already have been, so why stop now? What I've seen people do already is take this receiver and mount it on one of the skids. Skids? Yeah, whatever. Mount it over here on the side. And then they take the battery, they mount it on the other side, or you can mount the ESC up front and just shift the weight around a little bit. I will say that I have seen from other reviews, these things are balanced, and I'm not going to be able to pull it off right now because I'm on camera and performance anxiety and all that. These things, yeah, I'm failing miserably right now. Anyway, I've seen results. These things are weighted 50-50 left and right, 50-50 front and back. So Redcat did a good job of putting all this stuff together. But for crawlers, you usually want a 60-40 bias, 60 in the front, 40 in the rear. And then left and right, you want 50-50. So you move these things, relocate these further from the rear. It actually makes a pretty big difference. Just moving these things, what I've seen on other videos is that you can actually get to 55-45 bias. So you're well on your way. Not bad. And then the other thing that I see here, obviously it's got portal axles. Look at the clearance. Listen, that pumpkin is really small compared to some of these other rigs that I've been looking at lately, like the Charisma MSA1E has that massive pumpkin. The Hobby Plus TR24 also has that giant pumpkin. This thing does not. And it has portal axles. That is a good deal of ground clearance. So that is going to be nice. It is an axle mounted servo, 3-wire servo. So obviously you can upgrade that if you want to. Really seems to be okay. That is nice. It is a true 4-link suspension up front and in the back. It doesn't have the 3-link up front. So again, just another nice touch. It has these built-in, I called them skids. That's not what I was trying to say. Sliders, rock sliders built into the sides there, and they've got nice surface area to mount things on up there. Man, what just a greatly designed truck. Servo does hit the frame up front, but it looks like it's at full compression on the shocks. So it really just doesn't even impact the spring travel. Redcat really blew this out of the water. Now, the next thing that I have to mention is this is a brand new release, and the introductory price on this is $99. After a couple months, it will go up to, I think it's going up to 120 or 130. Regardless, for this truck, that is well worth it. It's 18 scale, so it's a little bit bigger than the 24 scale. Portal axles, ball bearings all the way around, oil-filled shocks, 750 battery, great transmitter, clipless body. I am raving about this thing. I haven't even driven it yet. Redcat nailed this. I also have to say, this is my first Redcat. So I'm just excited to have a new brand added to my fleet. So I'm excited about that. So we'll see. Now it does have, plastic suspension links, steering links, of course, that's pretty standard. It does have plastic drive shafts as well. So we'll see how that stuff holds up. I've seen some people that have already broken some of those. Now, one of the other things that I really feel like I need to mention with the release of this, Redcat did release a full array of upgrades, whether it's, I think, either aluminum, they have some brass as well. The pricing on the upgrades are pretty steep, especially considering the price of the truck. Can't complain about the price of the truck, and I won't. The upgrades, I'm going to complain about that. They are a little high. So I have to assume with the reception that this thing has gotten that Endura and other aftermarket companies are going to jump on these. So we should have some competition on the scene here pretty soon. So can't wait to see what kind of options are available for this thing in the near future. But man, just what a great truck. What a great design. And I could not be happier with what has happened with this 18th scale rig, Redcat. I have no complaints. And for me to say, first of all, I haven't even run it. The second of all, for me to not have any complaints, hey, you're doing something right. Yeah. All right. So there's the unboxing and the initial product review reaction video, whatever you want to call it, of the Redcat Ascent18. I got to go run this thing. So I will see you next time with the test drive. Thanks for coming back. Hit that quadfecta, comment, like, share, subscribe. While you're subscribing, ding dong on the bell. Get the ding dongs. I said it. I didn't mean it, but I said it. I'll see you next time. Thanks for coming back.